Why do we need a separate ministry for civil aviation? Merge the ministry, do away with a separate demand for grants, reduce duties on ATF, or better still, bring it under GST. People should be aware that there is no country in the world apart from India and Bangladesh which has a separate and independent ministry for civil aviation. No one else. Everyone has evolved as they have sold and privatized their national carriers. I'm going to name a few examples. The US, Department of Transport. Canada, Transport Canada. UK, Department for Transport. Germany, Federal Ministry for Digital and Transport. Singapore, which still owns 55% in Singapore Airlines through Temasek, Ministry of Transport. Japan, Ministry of Land Infrastructure and Transport. The question I raise here, or rather the proposal I put forward, is that now that this ministry is no longer in the business of running a national airline, why does it even need to be a separate ministry? So it is established beyond doubt that the ministry, and indeed this government, is not in the business of either running an airline or controlling commercial aviation in India. In which case, let the government do away with this ministry, merge it into a larger consolidated transport ministry, and instead concentrate on making life easier for those private players who are the only ones operating in the Indian airspace today. There's no government player, it's only private. Let's make life easier for private players. This government has seen, actually both the UPA and the NDA, how hard it is to run an airline successfully in this country. We have written off over 100,000 crores of public exchequer's money in Air India. Even then, this government refuses, absolutely refuses, to take any steps when it comes to fixing the taxes on aviation turbine fuel ATF that are crippling this industry with every upcycle of crude price. And the government, with all due respect, should stop focusing on building so many new airports in a race for bragging rights and instead focus on increasing capacity and facilities at existing airports. Most major airports are operating at 85 to 120% of handling capacity. This is a safety issue. Terminals at Bagdogra, at Jodhpur are ancient, tiny. Airports like Srinagar, Leh have no proper aircraft de-icing facilities, very primitive landing and navigation. Let us fix the basics. The Honourable Minister, your predecessor, said in Parliament when he was explaining the need for privatisation that the government cannot be in the business of running airlines. Well, now that you're out of it, it is only fair that you create a level playing field for those private operators who are running airlines. I would like to quote former Prime Minister Vajpayee in 1972, who said in Parliament, "These days the atmosphere in New Delhi makes one choke. It is not easy to breathe freely. The chanting of a Prime Minister's name on All India Radio from morning to night, saturated propaganda on cinema screens. How can people sitting in opposition fight this?" It is India's greatest tragedy, perhaps, that the very party Vajpayee ji led as Prime Minister today leads a government that has turned this very same Parliament into the Colosseum in Rome in the 1st century, where like a gladiator, the Honourable Prime Minister enters to chants of Modi, Modi. And sadly, those entrusted with the decorum of this House, the garima, as they like to put it, smile smugly through it all. So today, as a woman parliamentarian, let me chant some names that truly deserve applause, both in this House and in the annals of civil aviation history of India. The first Indian woman to get a pilot's license, Urmila Parekh. The first woman commercial pilot, Prem Mathur. The first woman pilot of Indian Airlines, Durba Banerjee. The first woman IAF officer to fly in a combat zone, Gunjan Saxena. The captain of the first Boeing having an all-women flight crew, Saudamani Deshmukh. The youngest pilot in civil aviation history to command a jet aircraft, Nivedita Bhasin. And on this celebratory note, my esteemed colleagues, let us do what needs to be done. Keep the Maharaja out of the skies by all means, but let's keep the Aam Aadmi flying high. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.